Vegan advocate killed after being hit by slaughterhouse truck driver, say reports. Plant-based news. 65-year-old Regan Russell, a longtime member of Toronto Pig Save, was identified as the victim. It is believed the incident took place at around 10:20 a.m. June 19th as the truck was making its way through the gates of Fearman's Pork, a processing plant in Ontario, Canada. Keep fighting the fight. She died fighting for what she believed in. Well, they're not going to say what happened? What happened? Powell added that he views the death as an accident, saying, "We can't let the cause she was fighting for become lost in a fog of outrage. Keep fighting the fight, but don't be angry." So it's an accident. This woman was killed in an accident. But aren't these the people who jump in front of traffic? Aren't these the same people who jump in front of traffic? We're gonna have to dig deeper into this a little bit more. But so they're saying it's an accident here, but then the title says killed after being hit by slaughterhouse truck driver. He was hit by the truck driver, so they're placing blame on the driver implicitly. Earthling Ed says during these vigils, the activists have an agreement with the slaughterhouse where the trucks stop outside for 2 minutes so the activists can approach and give the pigs water and show them some comfort. If you look at what they do at these vigils, these vegans, they very often will block traffic. They'll stop the trucks. They'll stand in front of them, putting themselves in harm's way. I was talking to an activist, a former activist. He used to go to these vigils. And when these trucks would pull up, the animals that were in there were actually really calm until the activists approached the vehicle. So these pigs are in there just with other pigs. They're just in there with a bunch of other pigs. The truck stops, and suddenly these strange people that they've never met before in their life come up to them, start sticking their hands in there, start fake crying, pointing their cell phones at them, acting like fools. Just like in that video with Earthling Ed and Joey Carbstrong, this video, Earthling Ed, Joey Carbstrong, psychotic vegans terrorize small family farms, where they broke into this small family farm. The mother pig, the sow, tramples the piglets because they wake this animal up in the middle of the night. The pigs are screaming because they flip the lights on and they start freaking these animals out. The pigs are going to fight and scramble to get to the edge there or to get away from these weirdo vegans trying to molest them. They're panicking these animals. This is not how these vegans make it out to seem. Like these pigs are just waiting to be comforted by effeminate, sterile soyum. They're not just sitting there waiting to be saved by Earthling Ed. They're not just waiting there for some 20-something-year-old castrato to come and stroke their noses and pour some water on their face. They're sitting there with other pigs, and suddenly they're getting molested by Earthling Ed. Well, let's hear what everybody's favorite sterile, mentally healthy vegan activist on YouTube has to say. Vegan GaINs. Let's see what Vegan GaINs says. Vegan GaINs, who, by the way, says he hates people. Vegan GaINs, by the way, who is anti-natalist, who believes that there are too many people. Suddenly, Vegan GaINs is up in arms. He just cares about the people, right? He just cares about this person. I don't know, kind of a little bit disingenuous if you ask me, but let's hear what he has to say about this tragedy.
Hi everyone, so unfortunately the other day...
Hi everyone, so unfortunately you're going to have to listen to my voice, but I finally found something to whine about that's not going to maybe make me seem as pathetic and petty as I virtue signal and act like I care about this lady. Okay everyone.
An animal rights activist was killed outside of Fearman's slaughterhouse in Burlington, Ontario. And when I first heard of this news, I wasn't terribly surprised. I've attended protests at the slaughterhouse myself, and I've uploaded video footage of it to my channel. And this is a particularly dangerous area to protest for a few reasons. For one thing, it's a relatively high traffic area. There's a lot of cars moving through, so you have to make sure you're aware of your surroundings to ensure you don't get mixed up in traffic and get hit by a car. Secondly, I've seen a lot of activists just doing really stupid things around these transport trucks. I've seen activists climbing up on the sides of these trucks, just not paying attention to what the driver is doing. And I've seen some activists, nearly hurt themselves pretty badly, almost get hit just because they weren't paying attention or just plain doing something stupid.
It's a shame that this happened, but as Vegan GaINs has said so far, Why would anybody be really surprised? I mean, these are people that are standing in front of moving vehicles that are very, very difficult to maneuver, that are very, very difficult to see outside of. And why is anyone surprised that somebody got hit by one of these things? And also, these people like Earthling Ed, who are trying to pin the blame on the driver. One of the truck drivers ran over Regan and killed her. They're acting like this dude just like viciously attacked her with a car. You really think this truck driver, who's making not very much money, who's probably a really hard-working dude, just trying to get by and feed their family, you really think this person wants to have vehicular manslaughter or just lose their job for accidentally hitting someone, possibly injuring or even killing them? Absolutely not. These people are not out there just thinking, oh, I can't wait to run over some vegan activist. But I don't know. Let's hear what Vegan GaINs has to say.
The truck drivers who enter the slaughterhouse, more than any other slaughterhouse I've protested in front of, they tend to be extremely aggressive. And here's some video footage of that.
Oh, look at this truck driver, is really aggressive. This dude with a shaved ass head and snakes tattooed all over his head stands in front of this truck and tries to stop it. Throws his body in front of these people who are freaking asking for it. Are you kidding me? What the hell? Look at this dude. This dude looks like straight out of freaking prison. Tattooed dome. Imagine this dude stands in front of your car. This guy, shaved head, snake tattoo on his head, standing in front of your car. Are you gonna stop? You got your kids in the car. You gonna stop? You gonna stop for this guy? I think this guy's being pretty reasonable by slowly pushing against them, right? This dude's got goat horns tattooed on his head. It's not snakes, it's goat horns. This dude looks like a straight up demon. Stand in front of this truck. This dude looks like some of these nightmare fools you see on prison TV shows, right? You see on MSNBC Lockdown.
There is actually video footage just before the truck hit her showing that she wasn't doing anything dangerous around.
Okay, she's standing in the middle of the street. I don't wish harm upon any human being. I don't want to see this woman get hurt, but as far as like investigating what really happened here, there's got to be footage. These people are filming themselves. They're on this narcissistic save the animals, white savior nonsense trip, right? They're out there taking up the white man's burden and saving the animals. Why is there not footage? I mean, all these people live on social media. They're living for the clips. There's got to be footage of this. Look at the eyes on Vegan GaINs too. This guy who openly says he hates human beings. He hates people. Masochist, oh, he cares so much. Listen to this.
Intentional. The person who filmed this video also mentioned that he suspected that this truck driver was trying to put these animal rights activists in harm's way, trying to get them to come out into traffic so that they could get hit by a car.
So this trucker just won't come in. So he's forcing us to bear witness in a very, very dangerous place. And he's trying...
Forcing us to bear witness. Nobody's forcing you to be there, goofball. Nobody's forcing you boomers to go fake cry. Nobody's forcing you boomers to leave your 10 cats at home, right, in your coffin apartment or in your luxurious Toronto flat, right, to take a day off from spending money and being a boomer consumer. Nobody's forcing you out there, cameraman speaking. Nobody's forcing you to bear witness. You're LARPing. He's sitting there and he's waiting for you idiots to move. His guy's doing his job. You don't, I know you can't relate to this, right? You can't, I know it's really hard to relate. This guy does what's called a job. He has what some people in, the old reality called a career. So he actually goes and works for a living. He spends his day driving this truck. He's not some monster just looking to slay vegans in the streets. He's just trying to do his job so he can go home. He might even have another thing you guys probably don't understand, a family. Or another thing, very, very hard for you to empathize with, children. So he's trying to feed that family, which is when a group of people live together and love each other and care for each other. If you're vegan and you're watching, it doesn't even matter to you. And he wants to feed his family and his children and go home. He's not forcing you to bear witness. He's not forcing you to do anything.
Now, these are very serious allegations being made against the truck driver, and
Yeah, vegan GaINs. These are very serious allegations being made. I'm surprised he hasn't doxed this dude already. I'm sure these vegans have doxed him. You know these vegans have circulated the name of this truck driver and are attempting to ruin this dude's life. You know this dude's family. This dude who might have lost his job. Hopefully this guy's life doesn't get ruined by these vegan activists, but you know they're going to come after him. Vegan GaINs doxed a woman and a man and a family. He doxed the whole family because the guy wouldn't fight him in a restaurant because Vegan GaINs was so mad that his children were making noise in the restaurant on his daughter's birthday. Vegan GaINs was so pissed that these people dared to go to a restaurant with their family. He doxed this woman. Doxed her. He's doxed several people over the years. You know these vegans are circulating this truck driver's name. All right, so there you go. Boxa in the chat. Thanks, Boxa. Says livestock semi-trailer, fixed red tandem axle, 53-foot length by 102 inches width by 13 foot 6 inches high, aluminum floor. That is a massive vehicle. It is not easy to see what is going on that vehicle. All right, let's.
I'm not going to say that I know for sure what this guy was thinking, what his motives were, but I do find it very strange that this guy had a green light. He could have made a right-hand turn, pulled into the slaughterhouse like you'd expect him to.
Hey, Richard, you freaking moron. There are people standing in the street that he doesn't want to hit. This guy has a job. I know you don't understand that because you never had one of these. This guy has a job. He has a family, probably. He's probably got kids he's got to feed. And he's sitting there waiting for these people to get out of the way because he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He wants to get his job done. He wants to drop off his load and go back. He wants to go back to where he has to park his vehicle so he can go to his home and maybe sleep. He's not sitting there plotting some evil massacre of vegans. People who drive trucks for a living are not wanting to get in any altercation with anybody. They don't want somebody to call their boss and tell them, hey, your driver sucks. They don't want to even scratch a car on the road out there or dent a car because it's going to affect their insurance. It's going to affect their job security. You are delusional, dude, and you're dishonest.
But instead, he chose to just stand in the middle of traffic. It seems as though his intention was to get these animal rights protesters to walk out onto the road where they could possibly be hit by traffic.
All right, which is exactly what they did. If you go back here, these animal rights activists are in the road, bugging the pigs, doing what they wanted to do, bearing witness. In the picture you just showed, you showed an image that debunks exactly what you're saying. You're so dishonest, dude.
Anything dangerous. She was just standing in front of the slaughterhouse gate. And when he pulled up to the gate, he just rammed right into her. And you can...
Again, there's no footage. He just rammed right into her. There's no footage. What are you talking about?
See, there's an unobstructed view, there's no blind spot, there's no way this guy has any excuse to have not seen her, yet he still hit her. Now, earlier today, there was a special vigil at the slaughterhouse to honor Reagan's death, which I attended, and while I was there, I was able to talk to some of the witnesses who were there, who saw this whole event take place. They wished not to be on camera or be recorded, so I'm just going to repeat. What I claim they said. So I don't have any actual proof or footage what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to go ahead and claim that somebody who was there who won't even put their face and their name on these statements, I'm going to go ahead and say this so I can try and ruin this truck driver's life, and I'll accuse him of murder. Eat what they told me, and according to these eyewitnesses that I spoke to, they saw this truck driver before he hit Reagan. He was staring directly at her. There's no way he didn't see her, and he had this angry, evil, malicious look in his eye, like he intended to hit her. This is according to them.
So I'm gonna actually fake human emotion when I say this. Right? This angry, hateful look in his eyes. Oh. And he had this angry look in his eyes, and he screamed out the side window, "I'm gonna murder you! I'm a murderer!" Dude, vegan GaINs, you are so full of shit. You were not there. You're saying this like it's first-hand account. He had this crazy look in his eye. He had this crazy look in his eye, and he put his finger up to his head and went like this. Like he was like a threat, and he took his finger and he slid it across his throat. And he looked right at the woman and pointed at her and said, "You're gonna die, vegan." This poor truck driver is probably getting mobbed. Probably getting mobbed right now with emails. People, who knows? People might be showing up at this dude's house. These vegans are trying to make it seem like this dude intentionally did this. I'm calling bullshit on vegan GaINs narrative here.
He didn't see her, and he had this angry, evil, malicious look in his eye, like he intended to hit her. This is according to them. I find it hard to believe that this guy didn't notice that this woman was standing right in front of the gate. He came in, hit her right about here, and then her body fell underneath the truck, and she was dragged, over to where you can see that where the road curves. So basically about a good 15, 20 feet at least. And
so you think this dude did that on purpose? You think this dude did that on purpose? Nailed her. You're accusing this guy of hitting this woman and then dragging her body and just intentionally not stopping? This is so far-fetched. What a dishonest, spiteful, vengeful, hateful little turd you are, Richard. You're so dishonest, dude. You're so pathetic.
So all of this is very disturbing. Again, these are very serious allegations made against...
Yeah, it's very disturbing, Richard. You know what's very disturbing, little Richard? What's very disturbing is that you're going to sit here and dishonestly, with your dead-ass eyes, with your emotionless eyes, project all your spite and hatred onto this dude and try to underhandedly accuse this guy of intentionally murdering this woman, when this dude's life might have just gotten ruined because you freaking idiots want to go out there and LARP in the streets like you're saving animals. What's amazing, what's pathetic, and what's really disturbing is you trying to use the death of this poor old woman for your own stupid-ass agenda, for your own flippant, masochistic agenda to try to inflict harm on some dude whose life just got ruined and who might have just lost his job. Who knows?
The truck driver. So I'm not going to say for certain that there was any intention for him to commit murder.
I'm only not going to say for certain because I don't want YouTube's community guidelines to remove this.
Maybe this was some kind of crazy freak accident, but it's a little hard for me to believe. There was a clear line of sight that this truck driver had. According to eyewitnesses, he was extremely enraged, angry. He looked like he wanted to attack the activist.
He looked like he wanted to attack the activist. How can they see this dude? This dude's sitting up like 7 feet up off the ground behind a big piece of glass with all these massive ass windows everywhere. They can't see inside the truck. Like they're sitting there watching this dude's eyes. What a dishonest little...
Other eyewitnesses who recorded this event, it looked as though he was intentionally trying to put other activists in danger by getting them to come out onto the road to get hit by cars. So it seems like as though he had some sort of intention to harm these activists. And again, he had a clear line of sight. I don't see what the excuse is for him to just run someone over and drag them across the ground for like 20, 30 feet without noticing. It's all very bizarre.
All right, that's I don't know. I don't know about that. That's Richard. That's Richard. Vegan GaINs. Vegan GaINs. He just cares so much about this lady, right? Here's what Richard actually thinks about human beings, another glimpse into Richard, and this isn't like old footage or anything. There's a lot of old footage of Richard saying absurd, anti-human, ridiculous things, musing about being violent. But here's Richard just recently.
Pendu donated $2. He asks, how can someone get thicker skin? Although I can't help it, I easily get offended or upset at very minor situations where I feel someone is being rude or disrespectful to me. How to just not give a shit about it. I think you should try to be rude and disrespectful to other people. Like, if you're in a grocery store and somebody blocks the aisle with their cart, rather than just asking them to move, just smash your cart into their cart and just make it like, either tip over or like move. That's what I do. I'm just insanely fucking rude in public.
So he's advising this person to do the thing that he's falsely claiming that the truck driver just did. Here's Richard. You know what? Let's listen to that one more time. Listen to this one more time. Richard, who's just over here virtue signaling against this guy, saying this truck driver might have murdered this lady. I'm not going to say murder, but very likely. And he had this crazy look in his eye, and I wasn't there, but someone who was there told me. Here's what he says that people should do if somebody gets in the way with their cart at the grocery store.
If you're in a grocery store and somebody blocks the aisle with their cart, rather than just asking them to move, just smash your cart into their cart and...
Plot twist. The guy that he told this to, the truck driver, was actually a Vegan Gains viewer. The truck driver was actually a Vegan Gains viewer, and he took his advice. What kind of a person says this? What kind of a person gives advice like this? But then he's gonna act like he just cares about this poor woman who got killed by a moving vehicle that she stepped in front of. He cares so much about the justice for this woman.